This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace. Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another installation of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we are your hosts. I'm Alexis.
I'm Grace.
And we are back for what we are very excited for, a very special month in the various houses in which we live across different coastlines of this country. Across the country. But yes, many of you are probably aware that, at least if you're watching this on the day that it's being released, that it is now October. And October is known for many, many things, but most importantly, I guess on the very last day of October, we celebrate one of the greatest holidays out there, none other than Halloween. A day where we get to celebrate all things spooky, creepy, weird, maybe criminal, but don't actually do any criminal activities.
Nope.
But this being a podcast and podcast focused on classic animated shows that deal with crime and mystery and whatnot and monsters, we figured what better way than to do something special for the month of October, right? So this month, we have a nice surprise planned for you all. Rather than sticking on just one show and doing like an 8-episode arc of that show as we have done in the past, we're going to do something fun. Every week this month, we are going to recap or retell an episode of a classic animated show, but the episode is Halloween focused, okay? So you all may be like, wow, are there really that many Halloween episodes of cartoons? Surprisingly, actually, there are quite a few, because Grace and I have each found 2 that we are going to cover this month. So we've got 4 weeks of awesome content. And we're super excited for this. And we're really looking forward to the creepy tales that we will be involved in. I even dressed the part wearing my orange and black, partially because the Bengals are playing today. Shameless plug for my Bengals. And also because orange and black are the colors of Halloween. So I'm very excited and themed out, ready to go. And Grace will be doing our first episode today as well.
Yes, like you said, no, I'm just so excited because I also love Halloween. I love this entire month. Follows my favorite season, and I'm ready to get spooky, ooky with it and do Halloween episodes for everyone. And I'm very, very excited for today's episode. I think I say that every week, but I'm going to say it again and keep saying it.
Can I say very quickly? I feel like maybe I skirted over it in that intro, but we're doing whatever classic cartoon we can think of here, y'all. So it's not like Grace and I know exactly what show we're going to be talking about. And so also we're going to be looking at different characters and different shows every week, just as a heads up. So sorry. Yes. No.
Yes. Good plug. Yeah. And before I tell you what show or episode I'm doing or anything like that, I'm going to talk a little bit about some background as per usual sometimes. And especially for this episode where we're kicking things off. I will say that this is not, I guess, overtly a Halloween episode, except for the fact that it originally aired on Halloween, which thus inherently made it a Halloween episode.
Yeah.
So it counts to me as one. And because I wanted to get into the darker side of Halloween to kick off our little month-long arc here, kind of the creepy, darker side of Halloween, the one where true evil and horror lies within, aka really the most fun side of Halloween.
Yes.
And Alexis, that side of things is right down in hell with the devil.
Oh God.
So,
yes.
So briefly, let's talk about the history of Halloween here, and how this does have to do with the devil. So Halloween originated, according to history.com, like 2,000 years ago with the ancient Celts. So Celts, I don't know.
Like
Celts.
Celtic?
Celtic,
That's what you mean?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pronounce anyway, whatever. Yes.
Whatever. We're not historians. I just read history.com.
As you know.
as you well know. And so they marked the end of the summer harvest and the start of winter on November 1st. And now, to no surprise, winter during those times in the UK, what is now the modern UK area, were very rough and marked with, a lot of death because it was pretty grim and just a lot of rain and that kind of shit and cold weather.
Yeah.
So the night before November 1st, aka October 31st, aka Halloween, they celebrated a holiday where they thought the boundaries between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred, and the ghosts of the dead could return to Earth. And over time, and most notably when what has now become the modern day Christian religion and the Pope, they wanted to stamp out pagan traditions like this and make everyone a Christian. So they took this pagan holiday of, again, blurring the boundaries between life, the living and the dead. Like, how can we, capitalize on this day? They're already celebrating it, but make it Christianized. So they were like, okay, let's co-opt this and make it a Christian holiday. Yeah. And around this time when they were trying to Christianize it, they went and looked into all of the legends that related to this pagan holiday, and learned that a really common theme was kind of a trickster who tried to trick humans into things. And of course, the Christians made this trickster Satan. And there are still many legends that we celebrate on Halloween today that come from this kind of Christianizing of trickster legends around this pagan holiday, including one about a folk figure who trapped Satan in a tree and only let him down by having Satan agree that he would never take this man's soul. But of course, Satan said, sure, there's always a fine print on Satan deals, devil deals. Yeah. That when this man died, the man couldn't go to heaven or couldn't go to hell. And so he was actually just left wandering the earth as a spirit. And he was trying to get into either one, heaven or hell. And Satan was like, get out of here, and threw coal at him. Kids. Yeah, we made a deal. You're not coming in here, sucker. He threw a piece of coal at the man, and the man used this piece of coal to light his way kind of in the unknown. He was doomed to wander in the unknown for eternity. And he put that piece of coal in his lantern, and this man's name happened to be Jack. And that's why we call them jack-o'-lanterns.
Interesting.
This day.
Interesting. Yes. Wow.
So
never mind. Keep going.
I have no further information.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't ask me any follow-up questions. He was not a pumpkin.
Just a lantern.
No, it was just a lantern.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask.
His name was Jack. Yep. Cool. So the connection between the devil and the Halloween are many, again, because of Christianity coming in and co-opting this day. With even some very crazed religious people in modern days, and I guess, the last couple centuries, which is modern because this holiday's been around for 2,000 years, being anti-Halloween because they claim it's a day of evil devil worshiping.
Sorry.
Yes. And so, we're about to get into it. I don't know exactly when the fever pitch of anti-Halloween sentiment hit, but I do know that there was a fever pitch of Satan paranoia, at least in America. And I mentioned it actually in a crime caper that may or may not have been released at this point when this episode comes out, known as the Satanic Panic. Yes. So we're going to step away from Halloween itself for a second here and all of its, brief. Obviously, the history of Halloween is much more in depth than what I just gave, but we're going to briefly talk about the Satanic Panic because it's very important for today's episode. Okay. So the Satanic Panic, in brief, there's many great, incredible podcasts that get into it, but essentially it was a fucking crazy time in the US, roughly starting in the 1980s, lasting through the 90s. And some may say even today in different forms and under different veils. But essentially, it was a time of baseless conspiracy theories that there were satanic cults committing mass child abuse all around the country. Hundreds, if not thousands by some accounts, of cases were investigated with some people even going to prison due to essentially witness tampering because all of the witnesses were children, essentially trying to please scary authority figures who were wrapped up in this mass hysteria. Some of the origins of it were really kicking off by huge cultural shifts that were happening in North America at the time, most notably, or in part notably, women entering the workplace in mass, and thus who's at home to take care of the children? We're just leaving them with strangers now. Obviously, there's a lot of nuances going on there.
Yeah.
Yes. And so in part at this time, a book came out called Michelle Remembers, in which a woman, I think it was a Canadian book actually, in which a woman under recovered memory therapy, which is what we briefly mentioned in a crime caper, kind of hypnosis type of things, said that her mother abused her via a satanic cult that her mother was in, apparently, according to these, what is false memories, although the woman Michelle Remembers has never recanted any of this. She did go on to like marry, I'm pretty sure, the psychologist who like took her through all of this, and then they wrote this book and got a lot of bank off of it. Anyways,
red flags, but okay.
The red flags everywhere.
Yeah,
red devilish flags everywhere.
Red flags, yeah. But still.
So yes, with a country fraught with change and anxieties, the 80s were also a time of transition, like I said. Women entering the workplace, this book becoming a bestseller. But something also very interesting about this time is that this time in America, this early 80s, was when the country really started to face and realize that child abuse happens most often within the home, most notably sexual child abuse. So a little bit of a trigger warning here. We're going to talk about it briefly. According to New York Times article from 2021 by Alan Uhas, Michelle Remembers was really important because instead of it basically allowed us to find other causes and other reasons for sexual child abuse coming to the forefront.
Other than these crazy kids in their goth clothing.
Right. And so instead of seeing the problems with society, like systemic child abuse in the family because of people and adults being fucked up within their own homes and neighborhoods, all of a sudden, Michelle Remembers and other books like this allowed society put the blame somewhere else, which was satanic ritual abuse.
Oh, the opposite of what I said. Got it.
Yeah, that's why I said
never mind.
We'll go on. But
gotcha. I see what you mean now.
But what you just said is very relevant because kids in goth clothing and that type of stuff led to huge things like the West Memphis 3.
I was going to say.
Yep. 3
Paradise
boys.
Lost.
Yeah, exactly. Who just like kind of sort of liked quote unquote like edgy shit were charged with murder because of investigators who were completely wound up in the satanic panic. Again, looking out instead of saying, look at the horrible things people and family members can actually do because people are fucked up. They're instead saying, look, it's because of Satan that people are fucked up. Where, in West Memphis 3, one of the boys literally got the death penalty because of this. That's a whole, go look at other podcasts. It's an incredible.
Paradise Lost, I think 2-part documentary. There's part 1 and part 2. Yep. It's either on Amazon Prime or Netflix. Super good. Yes. Or one might be on each. Super good.
Either way,
good documentaries covering that story. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. This saga. So that's, one of the examples. There's also the McMartin preschool case where 7 teachers were arrested because of ludicrous claims by literal preschoolers that there were satanic abuse rituals happening at the preschool, including like tunnels carved out and built under the preschool, teachers flying. Yes.
Do you know how underfunded schools are? They cannot afford to dig tunnels. Preschool teachers do not make nearly enough money to be doing that shit. Okay.
They have to use their own money for art supplies. Like,
do you think they're bringing their own shovels?
Yeah. Like,
sorry,
where is this funding for any of this? There is none.
There is none.
So With this time again, the 80s and 90s in America, again, like what really helped solidify the satanic panic beyond just conspiracy theory land is authority figures legitimizing this panic, and emphasizing and legitimizing the sense that there's devil worshiping abusers all around you, instead of just being like, hey, maybe your husband or like aunt or uncle are just real fucked up people type of thing. So that comes from, again, police, parents, PTA, mayors, legislators, all taking a legal action and legitimizing these claims. And of course, mainstream media eating that shit up and sensationalizing it even more on places like 2020 and just losing their minds about it. So for about a decade and a half, this was like overtaking America. I think there's something like 12,000 cases were
my God.
Brought. It's like in the thousands of cases were brought around this. There's some special cases where parents were like, well, maybe I did do this. My children are saying I did. Maybe it's my own repressed memory that I must have done it and forgotten about it. Yeah, there was a case where a dad, his 3 kids, he was like, they said I did. Maybe I repressed this memory too. He went to jail for like decades until his kids became adults, and his kids were like, we got tricked by the police. This never happened. And like tricked by psychologists and hypnosis and shit. They recanted. He was able to get out of jail, but like very
his
serious
life is ruined still.
Yeah, exactly.
As
and their life
many
was
others
ruined.
who fell down the same path.
Exactly. Yeah. So huge trauma by many, many levels, all because, again, society was like, we can't be that horrible. It must be the devil.
Right.
Which, as you can see through things like the history of Halloween, the devil's always been the scapegoat of things.
Which don't get me started on that. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. But in
not
case
a religious
forgot,
podcast, folks.
Yes, we're not a religious podcast. We're not a history podcast. We are a cartoon crime podcast.
So what the hell does all this have to do with cartoon crime?
Yes, which I would like to note, the topic of our podcast, cartoon crime, is just as fake as some of those crimes that people were accused of during the Satanic Panic. Hey. So why did I tell you about the devil and Halloween and the Satanic Panic, where I'm sure the zealots were most anti-Halloween during that time, because again, it was a devil worshiping holiday.
Yeah.
Because not only does our episode today, Alexis, have to do with the devil, but this episode came out in 1992 on Halloween, and due to its satanic depictions and themes, it was immediately banned and pulled from circulation to the point where it's not even on Disney Plus.
What? Oh shit! We're doing a legitimately canceled episode. Oh
yes, a legitimately canceled episode that I had to dig on the internet to find.
Gosh!
According to the wiki, it was only ever like released on like the German circulation of like VHSs on it.
It's like German dubbed, and you're like watching it with English subtitles.
Like it was banned through and through in the United States. Like no even like release on VHSs, DVDs, Blu-ray, any of that shit. Disney Plus has no record of it. So this was
Germans, like,
I know they were like, fuck it. We're all about, we were the pagans. Like, let us have it.
We started this shit. This is ours.
Yeah, exactly.
We claim it.
Yeah. We own up
we'll
to
trade
it.
you.
Yes. So like that, I think, is also like a good point of like how extreme the Satanic Panic was. This was 1992. I think the West Memphis Through was in like 95 or something like that. Like we are in the heart of the Satanic Panic, that a cartoon episode got pulled from the air and completely banned because parents freaked out about it so much.
Yeah, sorry. That's crazy. I mean,
you will see there's no reason for it besides like there's a devil in it. So, and it came out on Halloween, which then tied it to more like satanic pagan things. So anyways, this episode is called Hot Spells by Darkwing Duck.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you said Disney. I was like, what Disney show? Although Disney cancels a lot of shit or makes people rewrite a lot of shit with devils in it. So it's like, what show?
Darkwing Duck, which does do some more, in our crime sagas, a little more edgy stuff, a little darker stuff. Yeah. And the fact, and like they're very smart, ahead of their times. The fact that they released this in 1992 on Halloween. They knew what they were doing.
They did. They were like, go ahead,
knew.
Pull it. It was, like, fuck it.
See what happens. And then they did, and they were like, oh.
We saw that coming. We knew.
Oops. So before we get into this episode, there's one more holdup that we need to talk about.
Okay.
A holdup about something that happens in this episode that I was shooketh by. It's not the devil things. It's not Satan. It's not Halloween. It's the presence of a character named Morgana, who she is like a Bride of Frankenstein looking duck. She's tall. She's got like the tight, like Elvira / Morticia Addams dress on, the tall black hair with the white stripe, which is fine. Love the look, love the toot. She was an evil sorceress, but by this point in the universe, she's not anymore.
Oh, okay.
The issue here is that in this episode, she is portrayed as Darkwing Duck's girlfriend.
Oh, no. False.
They even kiss in this episode. So here's the thing. Here's my wild speculation before we start this episode. Before this destroys our very true theory that DW and Launchpad are actually husbands, I now believe that, also because Launchpad isn't even in this episode. So I believe the fact that, like, okay, here's the thing, two modern dads, a couple raising their adopted daughter, also being low-key superheroes. Clearly, they're an untraditional household. So I believe that DW and LP actually might have a healthy, well-maintained, non-monogamous relationship.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. Well,
they're living in the future.
Yeah, exactly. They're their number one base. They're exclusively Goslin's dads, but they also healthily carry out other romantic relationships on the side. But at the end of the day, they come home to each other still. Gotcha. Like we said, the writers were ahead of their times.
They were. Can I posit one other theory? Yes. I think that the real reason why this episode was banned is not because it showed the devil, but because
because of that.
Yeah. They're like, oh shit, we have to show an ethical monogamous relationship. We can't show Darkwing cheating on LP. Oh, so it's not the devil? No, the devil's fine.
No, it's violating traditional heterosexual monogamous relationships. We can't have that on Disney.
We can't have that.
Yes, exactly. So one last thing about Morgana that's important for this episode is that, again, she's like a sorceress / witch. And within the Darkwing Duck universe, there's like a whole sub-universe a la like Harry Potter of magic users. She happens to be one of them, but DW and Goslin are like in on the whole situation, even as normals, as they call them, aka muggles. So with all of that very long intro, we're finally getting into our episode here.
Awesome. Oh my God, I can't wait.
Yes, we join Morgana, Darkwing, and Goslin on a special trip back to Morgana's alma mater school or her university, which is basically like Hogwarts. And she's been invited back to give a presentation on her latest groundbreaking magical research to all of the professors there, and academics from around the magical world are coming in to hear her speech and like her accomplishments. So DW joined for moral and emotional support. And I think Goslin joined because she, one, thinks magic is cool as fuck and is obsessed with it. And two, I think LP was maybe like off on a romantic weekend with like someone else and couldn't babysit Goslin. And so Goslin went with Darkwing, because again, they healthy, well-maintained, good communication, good coordination. So they arrive at the school and they're immediately greeted with family of Morgana, old professors who are all embracing her. They also see how excited Goslin is about their powers and magic. And they're so excited. They're like showing off in front of her. They're like trying to hype up her natural curiosity. She's on cloud 9. I will say they're like a little bit judgy on Darkwing because he's dating Morgana and he's a normal.
Oh,
Yes.
okay,
Darkwing,
Malfoys.
yeah,
Jeez.
definitely has a little bit of ego hits because of their like non-magic racism underlining this whole episode. But
Yeah.
he just deals with that and funny antics on the side. So it's not just the academics and teachers, and again, Morgana's family that know about the arrival of Morgana, but more importantly, the arrival of Darkwing to this school. So due to the magical spirit of this school, it's keyed into a lot of other ooky spooky magical aspects, including something that you've speculated about before, Alexis, other planes and worlds.
Yes.
Specifically, I think the magical nature of this school allows it to be connected a la like Amtrak style to other planes, including one of the most infamous,
Hop on.
Hell.
Of course.
And who do we have in Hell lounging around as he is wont to do until he notices Darkwing Duck suddenly appear on the magical radar? The one, the only, Beelzebub, specifically.
Oh, okay. And wow.
If we
got pretty classy with their demon selection.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
If we had the copyright to Bohemian Rhapsody, I would request that you insert the part right here where the opera singers, Beelzebub. I'm not going to sing it so we don't get sued. I don't know the rights of that
If
song.
we act like we're just commenting on the social impact of that song, then it's fair use, so we can throw it in. It's fair.
Great.
It's just social commentary.
It's social commentary. So real quick, for those who don't know, in Christianity, there's a lot of history in this episode because I was so excited about this episode. So in Christianity, Beelzebub is simply another name for Satan, and he appears throughout the Bible by this name. But like all things, there's a very long history to Beelzebub himself, the kind that gets passed around over time from different cultures and different meanings behind the name. So this ranges from Beelzebub being defined as one of the 7 princes of hell to being literally translated as the Lord of Flies, to being a 16th century occult tradition in which Beelzebub led a successful revolt against the devil himself, to other places saying he's a fallen angel, second only in command to Lucifer himself. So, long story short, Beelzebub appears for thousands of years as a pretty radical demon dude / Satan. Dude. Yes, in this episode of Darkwing Duck, our Beelzebub is down in hell, literally channel surfing people across the world to see like whose soul does he want to try and steal, corrupt, and destroy.
Wow.
And hilariously, he's clicking through and there's a politician giving a campaign speech and he literally goes, "Politicians, too easy," and clicks for the next one. Again, hilarious.
Yeah. Oh my God. So many reasons. Yeah. They're like, they knew this one wasn't never going to hit the screens besides in Germany.
Like, let's go all in at this point.
Yeah.
So, he's our classic looking Satan. He's all red. He's got a pointed tail with bright red eyes, long goatee, and a little curly mustache. And he's also usually wearing a cape and has a big old trident. So, again, after he passes through all the politicians that are too easy pickings, he wanted a challenge. He wanted a bigger get for a soul, basically. Mm-hmm. And that's when he sees Darkwing Duck, suddenly easily accessible. Again, an Amtrak ride away, an Amtrak from hell to our world.
The Cardinal line straight from our world.
Yep, he can get there lickety split, no stops, et cetera, et cetera. And to Beelzebub, Darkwing is the ideal target as he is the bastion of justice and goodness. So, like any good devil, though, or any good Satan, the goal here is to capture his soul, but never in a straightforward, easy way. He has to do it with trickery and cunning. So Beelzebub literally explains that like he's stepping out tonight and goes to prepare for that. Yep, he is like on
Street
cloud
life.
9. Yeah, exactly.
I know.
He's coming out. He's gonna take your soul.
He won't let it go.
Social commentary on the song. Don't sue us. Whoever owns the song. Whoever produced this song.
Yeah.
Anyways, so back on the magical earthly plane, DW and Goslin are getting a tour of the school by Morgana and some of the teachers before her presentation. You know, they stop by an auditorium where the presentation will be later. They pass by a library, which is explicitly called the Library of Forbidden Spells, and it has skulls all over the door. And I don't know why they would keep a library like this in a university, like full of students, because Morgana tells DW, like, yeah, the spells are so evil, they'll risk your soul. Anyways, let's keep going.
Don't go in there, students.
Yeah.
And in like, case you couldn't tell how detrimental it is going in there.
This is evil. Yeah, exactly. And they also stop by some classes. And Goslin is immediately fascinated in these classes because she sees students learning spells and making potions. And because of all of her excitement, Darkwing is like, yeah. And one of the professors are like, yeah, you can sit in on a class, girl. Like, see what happens in magic school. Like, everyone's basically so stoked that she's like a normal is so excited by this. So they leave her in a class as Darkwing, Morgana, and the other professors continue on the tour. And then also Morgana and Darkwing go to prepare her presentation for that afternoon. Unfortunately, though, even magic-ass schools have something we all hate. Math class. I know.
What does a wizard need to know math for? Or
apparently a lot. So yes, Goslin feels exactly how we do. She is in that class openly complaining that like, this is so boring. This is about equations and formulas, even though like the students and professor are like doing an equation, saying it, and then like poof, like a little monster, like a little familiar pops out and like making potions and cool shit happens. But again, Goslin's in the back just like, this sucks. There's a little like monster by her and she's like, this is so boring.
Lame.
I'm just gonna fuck around with these potions right in front of me. Ooh. And so she does it immediately, like shit explodes and the professor kicks her out of the class. All of the students are sneering and laughing at her that like she did this, she fucked some stuff up. They're like, this is so beyond your reach as a normal, like you'll never be one of us, and kick her out. So Goslin is pissed. She storms out and she's like stomping around the school, upset both obviously by the bullying she just endured, but also upset because obviously, I know, the bullying that she did herself.
Yeah, it's
we're not going to get into.
No one deserves to be bullied, but you did do something really dumb. So
yes, exactly. Like you deserve to get in trouble for that, Goslin.
Yeah, at least get in trouble.
Yes. But also upset, kind of underlying here is that she's just jealous that she can't do magic and everyone else can. She thinks it's unfair and she just so badly wants to be a part of this and is now feeling like there's no way she can, like they're not going to accept her. Like, how is she going to be able to do magic? It's so cool, but like, I just can't. And so underlying some other complicated emotions there. And this starts to like boil into anger. And she starts to kind of be like, no, I want to prove to people, like, I can do magic. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, screw this. Yeah.
No,
and so she's kind of like, right, exactly.
Just like you can't do magic.
A lot of emotions there.
Yeah, it's okay.
And so
she gets that from her father.
Exactly.
From DW.
Jump to conclusion.
Yeah.
Yes, to DW. From DW. And so as she's like kind of storming around the school, kind of like in her own little world, she runs into the janitor of the school. And he is like a sweet old man who's like rocking like, cute little overalls. He's got like a, like a old timey like cap on. He's rocking like a Santa beard. So he's just like a sweet little old man and is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, first of all, he's like, she like tripped over his broom. So like, she was like, are you okay? Like, what's going on, kid? Like, are you okay? What is this?
Yeah.
And so he's like the first adult after like this experience of getting ridiculed who like stops and actually listens and hears her out. and is
sees
like,
her.
yeah, exactly. And she's like sitting there being like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, this sucks. Like, I just want to do magic so badly. And he's just like, I hear you. I hear you. Like, yeah, math does suck. I get it. Like, it's okay, kid. But obviously, like, his job isn't actually to sit around all day and listen to students. So eventually he's just like, okay, bye.
Cleaning over here.
Yeah, keep doing my actual job here.
Yeah.
Bye.
Little girl that I've never seen before and who appears to not even be enrolled in this school.
Yeah, clearly doesn't go here. Like,
I don't have time for you.
Yeah, and so he starts walking away. But Goslin, of course, and this reminds me of like in our Darkwing Duck arc, your original impression of Goslin, it was just like, girl, calm down. Like, you're a little annoying. I will say she's a little pushy in this episode.
Yeah. We still love her, though. She's
we
awesome.
still love her.
Goslin is a G, but she is like 9 or 8 or something.
Exactly.
So
she's
it's
an 8-year-old
like,
kid.
A little too much
going
energy.
through some emotional roller coasters right now, and someone just showed her kindness. So she follows him. Yeah. But he started heading towards the Forbidden Library, to which she's like, whoa, 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 you can't go in there. You can't go in there. And he's like, look, kid, here's the thing. Don't tell anyone, but like on the DL, nobody goes in here. So I moved all the banned books just to like boxes in the basement. I'm the only one who has keys. So like, I just filled this up with like books I like to read. And like, I just kind of hang out in here. Like, this is my like peace and quiet area now. Yeah. He's just like, okay, like that's kind of the stitch. So like, you don't go here. So it's cool that I tell you that. So like,
little child who I just met.
Yeah. So like, I'm going to go. Bye. And so he opens up and he walks in, like clearly being like, see ya. But again, Goslin slips right in behind him. So again, first of all, Goslin, this is like a total stranger. And you were just like, okay, sounds good. I'm going to come in with you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm jumping the gun here, but where the fuck is Darkwing?
He's with Morgana. They think she's in class.
Okay, yeah, but okay, just
they
so
think
they're
she's
like touring around and
and then like he's helping Morgana get like things ready. Again, they think she's in class this whole time. Okay. And so as the door's shut, she immediately starts begging him, like, please, can you like help me? You gave me such good like comforting advice. Like, please, 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 please. I just want to learn magic so badly. And like very clearly he just told her like this is his personal space and like this is not his job. And so he like is just like, okay, fine, yes, fine, okay. Like very clearly like, get out of my fucking hair, kid.
If I tell you, will you please leave?
Yeah. And so he like grabs like a book off the shelf. And it was called Magic Made Easy. So it's clearly like a kid's book. He just like flips it open and is like, this is how you read it. Here you go. And like shoves it to her. Which she has to try the spell then and there. And he's just like, oh my God. Hey, yeah, do the spell. Do the spell. Go ahead. Sure. So she does it. And a little monster familiar pops out of thin air. And she's like, oh my God, like I can do magic. It worked. And like, she's like, please, please show me more. Please, please, please. And he's like,
there's like, you have a whole book, little girl. Look.
Literally, he goes, you don't have a library card, but I'll let you take this one out of here if you read it elsewhere. And so he literally like shows her out of the library with like the little monster and like book into it's like a huge book and she's super tiny.
So now she like has her own familiar as well.
Yes, like, is her little monster familiar. And he just shuts the door behind her. He's like, please leave me alone.
Yeah, like chains it.
Yeah, exactly. Like triple locks it.
Please, please do not come back here.
Yeah, he's like, this is where I put my feet up. GTFO, please. So Goslin's first stop is the auditorium / like theater area. First, because like any good showman, she's got to find a sorceress costume now that she can do magic. So she goes to the theater department and finds adorably like these little like oversized robes. And she's got like a pointy hat that's got like little bat wings on it and like a big old amulet. It's very cute. And so second, she goes there because she knows that's where Morgana and Darkwing are going to be preparing for the presentation. And she wants to show off her magic skills. Like she's super proud of it, which totally makes sense. So she runs to the stage where Morgana and Darkwing now are, and she immediately casts the spell from the book. that she kind of like tucks the book into her robes because she was able to like downsize the book with magic. And another familiar pops up, and this time it's like this huge like monster that is somehow very thirsty because this lady monster sees Darkwing and immediately starts chasing him with like hard eyes.
Oh my
like
God.
Isis from your episode
Yeah.
a long time ago. So
it's her ghost, her demon, whatever.
Yep, exactly. So while Darkwing is running around like getting chased by like this monster who's trying to kiss him, Morgana, a la like a stepmother, throws some mad shade at Goslin. And it's basically like, how'd you learn how to do this? You got to be able to do math to do this, which I know you can't do.
Ooh.
Damn.
Oh God.
So Goslin tries to defend herself by being like, psh, math is like so easy. What's the big deal? Like, I totally know how to do it. Like, I learned this in the class, lickety split, and no problem. And Morgana is like, there's no way that's true. What'd you do? Like, you clearly did something bad that you're not supposed to do. I don't buy this at all.
I mean, both things can be true.
Exactly.
She can be good at math and have also stolen or improperly acquired that.
How many
magic.
mathematicians have been evil? Probably a lot.
Probably at least a handful, if not many.
At least many.
Yeah.
So
how many good people have also been good at math?
Less.
A few.
Anyway. And so with this, Morgana is like, did you go into the library, Goslin? And Goslin's like, girl, it's chill. Like, of course, because he told his secret to an 8-year-old. She immediately tells Morgana, like, all the bad books are gone. Like, they're moved into the basement. Yeah, I went in there and it's fine. But at that exact moment where Morgana's like, he did what now with all like the very dangerous books? He just put them in boxes where anyone can find them. Other professors come in, including the dean of the school, who see Goslin's familiars and are amazed. They basically call her a prodigy and are like, holy shit, this normal was able to figure out magic. Like, this is incredible. Morgana, basically they're like, cut your presentation short. We don't care about it anymore. We want this normal who turned into a magician to show all these academics how she did this. Like, this is a modern marvel. No one has done this before. This is our show now because all of these great minds are here.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I almost have too many things I want to say, so I won't say anything.
We'll get to it at the end. This episode is a roller coaster. So Morgana is obviously pissed. She's like, this is my groundbreaking like research. Like, I'm here to perform, and now this little lying brat of a kid, like, again, remember, Morgana used to be an evil sorceress. So she's like, this fucking kid is ruining my time to shine. So Goslin is like, yeah, that's great. I gotta go like pick out which spells I want to do. And like runs out to be like, I gotta figure out some other spells. They already saw my familiar stuff. Like, she's basically like cramming for a test that she clearly didn't study for, being like, shit.
Please. When you lied on the resume.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I know how to code. Okay, write this program.
Let me go to the bathroom real quick, like scrolling through the phone, something.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'll learn.
That's basically what she's doing. But Morgana, again, not trusting Goslin, kind of trails her to be like, what's going on here? She sees Goslin flipping through the book. Morgana immediately recognizes the book as, you guessed it, maybe, one of the forbidden books. But before Morgana can say anything, a pair of red hands appear from behind her, cover her mouth, and rip Morgana away.
Whoa.
Goslin doesn't notice, though, because her head's just deep in the book, cramming for the exam. Studying. She's able to find the janitor again because she knocks on the door, being like, I'm here. Help. Can you help me learn another spell? He literally just like flips it open, like takes a couple of notes on the book and is like, here you go. And then closes the door on her again, being like, bro, get out of my space.
Please leave me alone. Yeah.
Yes. But she's still nervous, but she's like, okay, I can do this other spell. He took some quick notes for me, some annotations to help it make it easier. I got this. So Goslin takes the stage to show off her like magical powers, how she's done all of this. She's like a little nervous, but she recites the spell chosen from the book. But then screams erupt all around the auditorium as soon as she finishes the last word of her spell, an enormous, essentially sinkhole rips the ground apart behind her on stage. Flames pour out of it, followed by a slowly rising gate with like red glowing all around it. One of the professors scream that this is the gates of fire, which is literally just a description of what they're seeing, a gate surrounded by fire, but also hell, yes. Like, I can do that too.
She says that everyone looks at her like, no shit. It's gates of fire. Thank you. We see this. So from these gates emerges multiple little devils with little tridents and pitchforks, more flames, and Beelzebub, who Goslin immediately gasps at because even though there's no longer a white beard or overalls on him, she immediately recognizes the devil as the janitor who gave her the book in the Forbidden Library. And clearly the spell she performed was specifically to grease those wheels to open the portal between the magical world and hell. Oof.
So all of the other small devils start pouring out of the gates and flooding the theater and like capturing all of the professors as Beelzebub opens the gates wider to reveal in the flames behind him Morgana, who's tied up to a stake. Well, she's tied up to a stalagmite, as I learned in our previous episode. Go back and listen a few episodes ago, everyone.
Yes.
To the difference between stalactites and stalagmites. But all basically like witch trials, she's like tied up to it. And above all of the screams and the fighting going on between like these small devils and the professors who are being easily bested by them, Beelzebub explains that he will willingly let Morgana go only if Darkwing takes her place in hell. And even though Morgana begs him not to, and Goslin is freaking out begging him not to, Darkwing immediately agrees to the switch.
Oh no. Oh my gosh.
So with the snap,
he didn't even ask LP first.
No. Nope. This is like the wild like weekends that they have separately. Like
he's like,
what
I'll figure out how to get out of
this? Yeah.
All right.
And so immediately with like a snap of his devilly fingers with his long devilly claws, Darkwing is suddenly the one tied to the stake. Morgana is stumbling out onto the stage, and the gates of hell are slamming shut and descending back down to the portal. So as everyone is confused and in chaos and like checking the wreckage from like this sudden demon attack, Morgana explains that the situation is even worse than they thought. She learned this whilst she was with Beelzebub. That not only can they not save Darkwing because he willingly went to hell, but all of this came to be because Goslin willingly got her magical powers from Beelzebub and thus didn't read the contract in which it said, if you get these powers, I get a soul. So through the tears, Goslin is freaking out and explaining. I know this episode's long. I'm just going to keep trucking through things you have to say until the end.
I just had a lawyered moment. I was like, never mind.
Alexis. Give me 2 lines. And then we'll get to it.
Go for it.
3 lines, a couple lines.
Yeah.
So Goslin is sitting there explaining that she didn't mean to make any details, nor did she know that the powers weren't her own. Further, she didn't know that the guy she was talking to was Beelzebub. She thought he was a friendly janitor. Now, Alexis, you'll love this. Morgana stops Goslin right when she says this and essentially says, wait, Goslin, this is fraud in the inducement.
Oh my God! That's exactly what I was going to say. Oh my God.
That love school. Okay, the
Holy
writers don't
shit,
say
that, and also she's a
inducement, but-
minor, so the contract is voidable. But also, I was like, wait, this is fraud in the inducement. Oh, he's not who he says he was.
Damn, did this bitch pass the bar? Yes, she did.
Yes, she did. And then she used that skill to go become a witch.
Bam!
Real quick, I just have to say that right there, Darkwing Duck is officially like the greatest child show that ever existed in my opinion, at least for my nerdy legal mind.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
Okay. I know, that's why you were like, my lawyer flags were going off, and I was like, Alexis, shut up. I wrote a paragraph about this. So for those who aren't lawyers like Alexis is, and who don't Google things like I do, okay, I will say Morgan doesn't say like fraud in the inducement, but she basically is fraud. Like, yeah, she's like, this is an invalid contract. So basically, because one person tricked the other into an agreement through fraudulent representations, aka the devil was acting like someone else, the contract is invalid. So apparently, even the devil
by Morgana
respects getting lawyered, baby. So this means they can get Darkwing back because the promise of a soul for powers is no longer in place. And this is why we need lawyers, people.
Boom.
Bam.
I swear to God, we're not all evil and terrible. Although Beelzebub is definitely going to get his own lawyer as well, and we can question the ethics of that lawyer.
He's got a lot of powerful ones down there with him in hell, like, a lot. For sure.
There's a whole team of them down. Anyway,
yeah, some of the best, maybe. Anyways, so all the professors set to work doing math magic specifically, because the writers got to emphasize math is good. To reopen the portal to hell, which Morgana and Goslin have a plan and jump right into. But they don't go into hell empty-handed. They go into hell with one of the most powerful weapons that we've actually already seen in the Darkwing Duck universe. And we've seen it work with incredible results. A press pass. That's right.
That'll get you into any room.
Goslin and Morgana pose as reporters. They've got like big trench coats, like hats with little press tags on it, like cameras and notebooks.
I wonder if Goslin is still the editor of her school newspaper.
She absolutely is. She's going to write
this is going to be our front page
editorial on Beelzebub and the importance of correct, proper contracts. This is a groundbreaking that he tried to see out an invalid contract.
Oh God.
So they basically act like reporters, and they're going to interview Beelzebub on like his biggest soul capture yet. Like, how did you capture Darkwing Duck's soul? They play upon his pride. Obviously, he's Beelzebub, so seven deadly sins. He's prideful. He's immediately like, yeah, I'm going to pose for photos. He like, first of all, Darkwing Duck at this point is like hanging upside down, like on, like a like gallows. It's very dark.
Like in hell.
Yeah, in hell, like literally flames everywhere. But Beelzebub is like, yeah, I'm going to pose with him, and grabs him over. He's like smiling with all his little devils. Like, he is
Do you know who this guy is? This is Darkwing Duck, y'all.
Because again, press pass gets you into lots of places, people.
Yeah.
So, war zones, hell.
The White House.
That's it. White House, yeah.
All of these places are synonymous.
Yeah. So smartly, they take a photo of Beelzebub and the other devils with a flash so bright that it temporarily blinds him, giving them the chance to quickly untie Darkwing and use both Morgana's magic and the magic of the professors above to bring them back up from hell and reseal the portal immediately. And although obviously Goslin is devastated not to actually have any magical powers, she is happier to have her dad back. And, she low-key like realizes that she sold his soul to the devil. And the episode ends with her being like, sorry, I didn't mean to endanger your soul.
I'll do the dishes for a month.
She doesn't offer that. She just says sorry about your soul.
Sorry. I mean, I guess at least she apologized. Jeez.
Yep. Oh my God. And that's it. That's the end. And then it was banned from the air forever.
And now we're reviving it.
Bam!
I love it. Wow.
Last
Great
episode.
job. Great
Thank
job.
you.
First of all, I love it because, like you said, it's not explicitly Halloween, a Halloween episode, but everything in there just shouts Halloween.
Right.
Shouts,
And again,
yeah, like
the writers were
horror,
releasing it on
terror.
Halloween. Like
Exactly. They knew.
it's
They're
got
like
magic, monsters, the devil,
everything.
everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I love it. Wow. I still
Roller
can't get over
coaster.
the contract defense. Oh my God. I cannot wait until we go back in our normal episode arc, until we go back to doing Darkwing, because we didn't even cover any episodes with Morgana. And we're definitely going to have to get to her, because now I'm like, oh wow, she's way smarter than I remember.
Yep. Yeah, she's badass. She's like, contract is invalid, baby. Like, let's get this
I know
shit.
a lot about invalid contracts. She's like, I've signed so many invalid contracts with the devil.
I used to be an evil sorceress. That's all I did.
Yeah. Invalidating contracts for people. Wow.
Bam. Fraud.
Great job.
I'm on it. Thank you. So there we go. That's the start of our short, but I think will be very fun Halloween arc. Obviously, we're casting a wide net of what counts as that. And with that, between now and next week for our next Halloween episode, who should our listeners tell about this podcast?
I think that everyone should go and find a contract lawyer and tell them. And while you're there, just ask like, hey, is it possible to have a contract with the devil invalidated? I promise you.
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend, not me, but I promise you, you will not be the first person to ask a lawyer that question. Actually, Grace, didn't you do a crime caper on someone trying to sue like the church or
Sue
something?
God.
Yeah, sue God.
Yeah,
like
go back
causing
and
him
that
to
crime
sin.
caper, folks.
Yeah.
So,
unrelated to who you should tell this week, but yes. So find a contract lawyer and tell them.
Nice.
Side note, I'm not a contract lawyer, so don't just like call me. Well, I guess I'm not technically a contract. Whatever. I don't count, and I already know about this podcast. So what are you doing?
Bam. Nice. I was gonna say that you should also tell a devil, but it's the same thing. No, I think you should go tell a Satanist. Tell someone who's like from the Church of Satan. Someone who follows Anton LaVey or someone like that, and tell them to listen to this episode. We talk about the Satanic Panic. We talk about Beelzebub. We go to hell in this episode. It's fun. Satanists are all about fun. They have lots of fun. So I think you would like this episode and podcast.
You actually do. You actually might be surprised if you go and meet one of them. But we're not a religious podcast, so I'm not going to
not a religious podcast.
That, so.
And on that, we'll see y'all next week for another Halloween spooky oopy ooky episode. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.